Backstage Chatter fans, it's me, your host, Jackie Hardy. I'm so excited to be speaking with, in today's segment, D. Wambui Richardson and Khira Hailey. Mr. Richardson is currently the Jubilee Theater's artistic director, and Miss Hailey is the director of the Jubilee Theaters in collaboration with Performing Arts Fort Worth's production of Sister Act. It's rare we get the privilege to speak with the creative team and visionaries who help to bring these brilliant productions like Sister Act to life. Join me as I discuss with Mr. Richardson and Miss Hailey what it's like to oversee and direct the musical Sister Act based on the beloved movie and what Miss Hailey appropriately deemed as a cult classic, as well as we discuss how their partnership with the Performing Arts Fort Worth began. Remember, you can see Sister Act at Bass Hall in downtown Fort Worth from August 15th through August 18th. For ticket information, go to basshall.com/Sister Act. We know you're going to enjoy our conversation, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Well, welcome, Mr. Richardson and Miss Hailey. It's such an honor and a privilege to get to interview y'all for it's called Backstage Chatter, segment of our North Dallas Gazette YouTube NDG Live channel. So thank y'all so much for giving us your time.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, same. We're excited to have you all, and I know our viewers equally will be as well. And I'm Jackie Hardy. I've been a host for Backstage Chatter now, I think going on 2 years. And so I love it because I get to meet fascinating people like yourselves. So, yes. And so we'll kind of jump right in. I know specifically we're talking about what you guys are doing with respect to the beloved, it started as a movie and now musical Sister Act. And just to give, not that many of our viewers need any kind of background on the movie, but just for the sake of doing it, I know it's about Dolores Van Cartier and her being a lounge singer, on the run, running from her ex-mafia boyfriend, Curtis Jackson, and all that is ensued with that, hiding out at a convent. But my question to you all is, what is it like, or how special has it been for y'all to be a part of something that is so beloved, certainly as a movie and now a musical? Yeah, anybody that wants to kind of chime in.
Ms. Khira?
I think it's because I feel like Sister Act is one of those things. You're like, I remember where I was the first time I saw
it. True. That's so true. It takes you back.
Yeah, it's a joy. It's something that you didn't think you would ever see or didn't know, like, what? Whoopi Goldberg's the nun, she's on the run. What's happening? What's going on here? Could this make a good story? I don't know. Right. And then you're like, oh, this is actually amazing.
That's right. 30 years, over 30 years later, it's still.
Yes, and it's still just one of those things that we love. It's like a cult classic, but and I think just going into this show and having that same love that when you first saw the movie, understanding that yes, this is a musical, it's a little bit different. It's the same storyline as the show, but it's its own entity within itself, and just enjoying that and enjoying the nuances of the musical and how it forms and how it tells its own story in a way, musically, dance, all of that, and just enjoying this new media, I guess, to receive this message.
Absolutely. And even bringing in newer, I'm sure, audience, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Richardson, do you have any thoughts on that too? Just how special it is to be a part of something that is, like you said, I think that's great. Almost like a cult classic.
It is. And I would say that's what draws us to it. It is the idea of this unique story that we're telling, but we're telling from the aspect of our community telling it. Every actor, artist, designer, everybody here that's right here in our own backyard. And it's an opportunity for us to be on the largest performing space in Fort Worth. Bass Hall, 2,000 seats. So a little theater like Jubilee Theater, where we only have 146 seats,
Yeah,
can command the space of a
that's great.
2,000 seat building,
Yeah.
and produce the same quality of work
On.
as any other Broadway touring production.
That's great. That's right. Yeah, that I love that. So true. Because the caliber of excellence is yeah, is there, right? And it certainly warrants, yeah, that kind of space. I love that. And kind of getting into y'all's roles, because I know Mr. Richardson, you're the artistic director of Jubilee Theater, and I know Miss Hailey, you're the director. And I will admit, we go to these shows and we take in all of what you guys are working hard behind the scenes to make sure that what we see on the stage is, to your point, at that level of excellence. And I think oftentimes y'all are the unsung heroes, right? And I'm even a little naive to what goes on behind the scenes. And so I would love if each of you would kind of share what is a day in the life of an artistic director. Just, I know you're like, listen, we need like 2 days, right? On that,
Yes.
but just real quickly, because yeah, I just would love for our viewers to kind of hear what it is that you do and how you're kind of ensuring that all the moving parts come together.
I
I would
would
say that.
say, for Wham, most definitely, because he's not going to say this himself, but he is all things Jubilee. He is the man of many hats. He does the job of the artistic director, the technical director. He helps build sets when he needs to help.
Wow.
He is in the background in every way, putting out fires before the fires even happen. He is great at knowing, hey, oh, something's bubbling over there. Let me go. Let
Yeah,
me go and fix the thing. Let me before it even becomes a thing.
right.
And that is his job, organizing all the moving parts of the show. Company management in the way of just making sure that the actors are okay and safe, especially going into Bass Hall, which is not our normal home, and just being that bridge between the theater there and our actors, and making sure everybody's safe and making sure everybody gets what they need. He is all of those things in
Right.
just this one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So I got two unicorns on here is what I'm hearing.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
And on that flip side, as we talk about Miss Kyra, her
Oh,
services, since we want to flip on
I
things,
love it.
it is all about having the vision of a show. I was blessed that I did not have to direct this one. I am burned out on musicals right now.
He
Sure.
hates a musical. He hates a musical.
With a passion. I can only do so many, Lord Jesus. But
Yeah,
a show like this required a director with
yeah.
a very fine hand,
Okay.
and a keen artistic vision for the show. This show has 9,000 locations, 50,000 cast members, you know, uh, and more
Yeah.
light and sound
Oh,
cues than there are verses in the Bible. And somehow,
I love it.
I'm sitting through tech and as we're starting to space things through,
Yeah.
watching the vision that Kyra has put together has been amazing to witness. Both Kyra and Keandra Brooks, our choreographer, again, homegrown right here in our own backyard.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous amount of talent here in the DFW
Yes,
area. And I'm not
absolutely.
knocking, bringing in actors from New York and
Yeah,
Chicago. I think
yeah,
there's
I hear
a
you.
value in that. But I think you got to start at home first.
Yeah.
And watching the work that she has done as a director and how she and Keandra have built a community with the actors,
Mhm.
because all of them are coming from different acting levels, different
Okay.
backgrounds, different communities, and leveling them all out to a place that they all feel mutually loved and respected in the space and telling the story. Yesterday was the actors' first time in Bass Hall, and all of them pulled out their phone and they're making selfies and videos of,
Yeah.
look, there's 2,000 seats behind me,
Yeah. Because that
and
almost
watching.
feels like Broadway to them. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And you don't really think about, as someone I mean shamefully admitting, sitting in that seat, you don't really think about what all goes on behind the scenes to put this production on, right? We just see the end result, but there is a lot of work that goes on. Yeah. And here you are, Miss Hailey, you work also full time. And
Come on.
then, yeah, and then you go in and put on the director's hat and yeah, and to ensure that all the dots are being connected. No, that is awesome. And I was reading, Mr. Richardson, on you and just what you've been able to do for the theater. It's just been phenomenal. So kudos to you both, honestly. Yeah. And Miss Brooks, I know she's not here, but here in spirit. So I just love that. And I appreciate y'all sharing that, what all it goes behind the scenes and what that entails. And, speaking about Jubilee Theater, it's a historical jewel. Yeah. I think I read it is uh, I think, oldest lasting African American theater in the state of
North
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
North
Yeah.
Texas. The
Oh,
second oldest, but the
second. Oh,
oldest in North Texas.
in North
The
Texas.
oldest is
Okay.
Ensemble Theater. They beat us by like maybe 2 years. But Ensemble Theater is the oldest. Jubilee Theater is the second oldest, but we're the oldest in the North Texas
Texas.
region.
Listen, that's amazing. That's mind blowing, right? Yeah, because we know all the obstacles a lot of times we have to go through as a people, yeah, to reach that kind of level of longevity. And just can y'all speak to how special that is to be a part of this theater that has that kind of richness? Yeah.
So being somebody that has been born and raised in Dallas, all my life,
Yes.
it is home. We used to go to Jubilee Theater when I was younger. And so it has always been a part of my life, a part of the thing for me. And then once I got older and then I was in college doing theater, Jubilee Theater was the first. I was a part of this acting company. It was an all-black acting company on my college campus, and we used to do and produce shows. And Jubilee Theater was one of the people that we reached out to just kind of come in, sit in, and just let them like mentor us and show us the way. So it has always been a part of my life in some way.
Okay.
And then to just come in, somebody that I have come from the community to be able to go into a space that I have been a part of all my life and work and create art there has just been an amazing thing to do. And I thank you to Wambui, who constantly brings me back almost season after season to direct the show, to direct the musical, because like he said, he hates them and I love them. I love a musical.
I
I
see the
love a
love. I
musical.
feel the love. That's
Mm.
that's amazing, and that love is translating in all of these great, certainly productions that y'all are putting out. No, that's awesome. So it's like a full circle moment for you, probably, Miss Hailey.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you, Mr. Richardson, can you kind of speak to just how special it is
Uh,
to?
I think it's a testament to the vision of our founding artistic director, Mr. Rudy Eastman, and his wife, Miriam Eastman, that they saw that there was a gap in the ecosystem of theater. That, it's real easy to be a Black actor who's working in the months of January or February. It
Hmm.
gets a little harder outside the other
Come
10
on.
months.
So,
And so being at having a space like Jubilee Theater means year round, because we don't stop. We do 6 shows a year. We are servicing all year long, all 12 months. There's no break, Jesus. So there's a show up every other month here at Jubilee Theater,
wow.
either in rehearsal or we're in show. And so that means that there is always an opportunity for artists of color to
Yeah,
use and utilize their talents
yeah,
and to grow it. And now where we are as a theater, as an organization, is we're working with artists to not just be actors, but to be more and to be, how do I create a space where we are holistic artists? I'm not just an actor, but I'm also a stage manager. I'm not just a stage manager. Maybe I can direct. I'm
that's
not
good.
just a director. Maybe I can do
Multi,
lighting design.
yeah,
So
multi-talented. Yeah.
what's going to end up happening for this show, just like it happened when we did Dreamgirls,
Mhm.
all of every actor that touches this show and is on stage on the big stage about a week after the show goes down, all of their phones are going to blow up. Hey, I saw you at Sister
Yeah.
Act. I have a role for XYZ. Can you come in and audition for this? Because we're creating a platform
Yeah.
for artists of color to say, this is what I have. This is the talent that I have. And
Mm,
sometimes other theaters don't have time to be able to groom that talent
Nurture.
and or get out there, groom, nurture, and or see that talent.
Mm.
So being on a large space like Bass Hall or Performing Arts Fort Worth gives us that platform where we can showcase the
Yeah,
talent that Jubilee Theater is grooming.
that's awesome. Yeah, get that exposure. Yeah, that sometimes goes unnoticed. I love that. Yeah, that is just awesome to know, that it's a legacy that has, I tell you, a futuristic effect, right? Yeah, yeah, because you're changing someone's future, quite honestly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. And, kind of getting into the partnership that I know Jubilee Theater has established with the Performing Art Fort Worth. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that, Mr. Richardson, and just the
Yes, ma'am.
benefits of that partnership?
Got it. So it all happened in 2021.
Okay.
After 18 months of everybody kind of living in limbo due to
COVID.
the whole world being shut down.
Yes.
That included Bass Hall, Performing Arts Fort Worth, and a great meeting between our former managing director Christy Howard and Ms. Dion with Performing Arts Fort Worth, and sitting down and saying, "Hey, we need a space where we can, produce our next show, but be able to socially distance." Jubilee Theater during COVID, bless our hearts, we still produced a full season of work
Wow.
during COVID. We flipped everything into a virtual house because it was important to me and our team that we honored every contract that we had provided people with. We know that as artists, when I have a contract, that is money that I have added and counted in my income. And so we wanted to make sure that we honored those contracts and those opportunities. And so partnering with Performing Arts Fort Worth allowed us the opportunity to bring our musical Southern Boys into that space. It actually helped for Performing Arts Fort Worth launch the reopening of their space because it kind of gave everybody the opportunity to knock off the cobwebs, so to speak,
Yeah.
and getting the space open again. And we did really well in that space.
Yeah.
We were averaging audiences of 700 to 800 because we just used the lower level. And I want to say by the time we got ready to close that show, we had an audience of somewhere between 1,300 people that
Mm.
had come out to see the show. So
And a
that's
diverse audience, I'm sure. Yeah.
and very diverse
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
And that kind of started the conversation of, hey, this was fun.
Yeah.
Can we do this again? And I think for Performing Arts Fort Worth, it's a great opportunity to reinvest in home because throughout the entire year, they're bringing in Broadway shows.
Right.
They're busing and trucking them in. So the opportunity that they had that, and I feel forever grateful to Performing Arts Fort Worth for this opportunity because it gives us the opportunity for further exposure. It helps us to reach an audience that we don't always have access to. It allows me to be able to showcase the talent that is here on a much larger platform. And it helps us to prove the argument for why Black theater is important. Because Black theater is American theater.
That's right.
Black stories are American stories. And this story that we're telling of Miss Dolores Van Cartier is equally as important as as Hamilton, Othello,
Yeah.
Shakespeare, Tartuffe, or anybody else.
Yeah.
These stories are equally as important, and our community is coming out to show that and support it.
Absolutely. No, couldn't have said that better. Wow, yeah, that's great. And I love, when you think about the pandemic, that's one of the blessings that kind of came out of that, right? For the theater, Jubilee Theater. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this partnership. Thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of our viewers probably don't even know that, including myself. So I love getting a little history lesson on kind of how that partnership originated. Yeah, and
Yes,
more to come, sounds like. Yeah. Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, and I had read an article when I was just looking a little bit about y'all, learning about y'all, but on you specifically, Mr. Richardson and Miss Hailey. I also want to hear this from you too, but I'll start with you, Mr. Richardson. I had read, and I'm gonna quote what you said. I think it was in the Voyage Village, but don't quote me on that. But they asked about your philosophy to community theater, and I thought it was really amazing what you said. You said theater should be a place where thoughts are provoked and audiences of different mindsets are brought together in the shared exploration of the human
The
experience.
human experience.
Yeah, and I would love for you to elaborate to our audience on how that drives your decision making, even and purpose as an artistic director. And Miss
Yeah.
Hailey, you jump in too when he's done on just what drives you with respect to telling our stories. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, I think that's in every decision that gets made at Jubilee Theater, the foundation of how does this bring us all together?
Mm.
Theater should never be a divisive tool. It should
You say
always
that for the
be,
back of the room because we need
it should
that.
never be divisive. You
Right,
know,
we
it
need
is
that.
about how
The
do we
unity.
pose a question in a way that we as a community can
Yeah.
hear it?
Mm,
How do we create a safe space for deeper conversations? How
good.
do we create a space that it is okay to agree to disagree,
Yeah.
but
Love
we
it.
can actually hear one another? So that comes down to actors that we cast, directors that we bring in, artists that we work with, shows that we pick. Who do we pursue in terms of funders and donors and events that we do? Everything comes down to how do we bring our community together.
Wow.
The goal is every night, you know, 1,000 people will come into a theater space and they are coming into that space as perfect strangers.
Yeah.
When those lights go down, and hopefully when those lights come back up at the end, we have a deeper understanding of each other and we have a deeper understanding of the community that we are. I
Mm.
get excited every night at Jubilee Theater when I look out into our audience and our audience is mixed
Yeah.
because I don't want people to believe that just because something is a Black story, it is only meant for a Black audience.
That's good.
And sometimes we do, sometimes, we look at things as a community and say, oh, this is the color purple. This is for a Black audience.
Yeah.
No, everybody understands what it feels like to be heartbroken
Right.
or to experience trauma. Trauma is not a uniquely Black experience. That is a human experience that all of us have the ability to understand, regardless of race, color, class, or creed. So, how do we tap into these stories, identify the universal themes in them, so that all of us together can share, grow, and love together?
Wow, that's good. I love that. And that's how you measure. Yeah, it sounds like, yeah, the success of what you're doing. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And Miss Hailey, do you have anything to add to that or
Yeah,
what drives
I
you?
think kind of to piggyback off of that, there was an instance that I was working on a show in New York, and it was very Black. It was all Black cast. The premise of the show was it was a FUBU based show for us by us,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I remember. Thank you for saying what that means for those.
Yes.
That's right.
I love it.
Rocking our FUBU.
And I remember we had a donor dinner after the donors had came and seen the show. And one person, they were talking to us and they were just like, or one person said, and I was in conversation with this man, and he was like, how do I see myself in this show? Like, how do I see who I am? Because I don't think that the show is for me. And I was just like, I've lived my entire life, no matter what theater show that I have been a part of or seen, being able to find myself in everything that I do, even if the people
Right.
don't look like me on stage.
Mhm.
And so I had to have that conversation. And then it really fueled something in me to always tell our stories, but in the universal thread of what they are. And even if that, so for instance, with our sister act, a majority of our cast, our lead actresses, are people of color. You don't normally get a mother superior that is Black. And it is a dynamic that most people haven't seen. And most people will be like, well, that doesn't make sense. It can, because the show is not about race.
Right.
Even though you try to make it that way, it's not about race. It's about an understanding of two different worlds coming together.
Come on.
And that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to show that different worlds can come together no matter no matter about race. It's about class, it's about socioeconomic status, it's about different backgrounds, because Black is not just one thing. We are a monolith of people. We are a monolith of situations and people of who we are and how we were raised. We don't look the same, we don't act the same, we don't
That's it.
view everything the same way. So being able to show that to the people, just because she's Black doesn't mean that just because Mother Superior is Black does not mean that her and Dolores' story are the same.
That's
These are
right.
two people grown up in two different worlds, two different ways.
That's right.
They just so happen to be Black.
That's it. Just like any other race, right?
Just like any other race.
That's good. That is so good. No, I love that. And it's so true that our stories are universal, like you said, Mr. Richardson. Anybody can come and be able to, in some ways, relate. Yeah, because we're all humans. Yeah, that's right. No, I love that. And it gives you a perspective too. You get to see. Sometimes we're quick to make judgments too, you know, even me and my Black skin, I can make judgments, and you get to see other perspectives. Yeah, that you guys are driving some of that. Like, yeah, have you thought about this? So I love that. Yeah. And you know, just to kind of talk about the just doing this specific production of Sister Act, what has been kind of the highlight so far? Yeah, I know, again, it's a beloved movie and now musical. And I know even, like you said, the storyline's the same, but creative aspects are probably unique to the musical. And so, yeah, is there some highlights that you can share with our viewers? Yeah, to get them excited.
I think for me, it's just being able to watch the cast come together as a family. I think I pride myself on a director of making a family in every cast that I am a part of, to where sometimes I just can't get rid of the people after we get done with the show.
You're like, show's over now.
Yeah, show's over now, y'all. But I still love y'all.
Right.
We become a family. I think it's because everybody cares about the work and everybody wants to see everything succeed, and everybody cares about the well-being of everybody on stage. Are we safe? We create a safe environment for everybody to be who they are. I encourage creative expression. It might not be what I thought was going to happen on stage, but show me who you are, and allowing people to be themselves, and then molding that into what their character needs to be, helps them to just grow and create this family. And so seeing that in the show now of this family that is growing has been a really great highlight, especially because we're coming from all different backgrounds. Like we said, we're trying to tell a universal story with all types of people. So seeing all those types of people being like, I got it, I get it.
Right.
And the mixing of cultures and lingo and all of that, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch.
That's great. And that's going to translate on stage, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Anything with respect to you?
That was the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest part about telling the show, is that it is everybody, it is all of Fort Worth and Dallas coming together to share in the process of telling this story. It is a true professional community, you know, of artists showcasing their best.
Oh, that's great. And then my final question, and I'll let y'all go, is, you know, I was thinking like someone watching this may be, you know, it's particularly that brown or Black skin individual who's looking to pursue a career in the performing arts. Is there an advice, just a one good thing, best advice that you would share with that person hearing this today?
I think for me, being on the director side of things, and Wham can speak more to the training of the thing, because I know that's what Jubilee is pushing to also do around the community. But for me, I think it's get out there, audition if that's the thing that you want to do. Try. The more you try, the more you know, oh, this didn't work or this could work. It is putting yourself out there. You never know unless you put yourself out there. Don't be scared. You might completely suck the first time you go to an audition, but that is okay, because you can then know what you need to do different for the next time. You never know if you don't try.
That's good.
Come on.
That is so good. Bet on yourself, man. Go for it.
Bet on you. Go big or go home.
Yeah, that's right. And that's Texas, right? That's it.
I love it. Yeah, it is definitely that's at the top of my list, but it's read. I think the number of artists, I think reading is slowly becoming a lost art.
Yeah.
Read plays, read shows, read reviews, get an understanding of text and text analysis. Show up.
Yeah.
Even if it's an audition for something you probably have no thought of that you would be able to be in. Show up.
Wow.
Because every time you audition is another training opportunity. And always open yourself to be a vessel, to be available. Because the way you thought you were available may not be the way that God was intended for you to be available. But if you come to the table as an open vessel, you can be used in a better way. And that better way will likely increase you.
Ooh, can I get an amen? That's a period. Listen, and now I am nowhere close to acting, but that's for me. So thank you, both of y'all. Yeah, it is such an honor, seriously, and a pleasure to have spent a few minutes with y'all. Thank y'all so much. And, you know, I was reading y'all's resume, and after talking to y'all, it's like, yeah, these are some powerhouses. And so I'm just honored to be able to be in this virtual room with y'all. And I know more noteworthy credits are going to be added to your already amazing resume. So thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
All right. And I'll see y'all because I'm coming. So I can't wait to see it. That's right.
Looking forward to it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow, wasn't that an informative and inspiring conversation with Wambui Richardson and Khira Hailey? The Jubilee Theater is a historical jewel, an icon in downtown Fort Worth. And we love the fact that they are committed to telling our stories, which happen to be everyone's story, because African American stories, as Mr. Richardson said, is the universal story. So you can support the Jubilee Theater and all that they're doing by making sure you go check out Sister Act. Again, it will be at Bass Hall in downtown Fort Worth from August 15th through August 18th. You can get tickets by going to basshall.com/Sister Act. Get your ticket, meet me at the theater. Thanks again for watching. Bye.